The bike we're checking out today looks to be fully loaded. It's built on a super strong hardtail frame with big 26 by 4 inch wide fat tires. It's got hydraulic brakes, turn signals, dual batteries for extended range, dual motors for unreal power, and they say on here that this thing can go up to 31 miles an hour. We'll see about that just a little later in the video when I take it outside and put it through all of these real world tests. If I do my job right, by the end of this video, you'll know without a doubt if this is the right bike for you or not. If it is though and you like what you're seeing, there's a discount code in the description as well as you can scan this QR code with your phone. That'll take you right to their website, guaranteeing you the best price. And don't forget, I've got a discount code for this bike to save you even more money. But wait, before you go and order one, let's review this thing and see if it's any good. Why don't we start with the important bits? Let's take a look at the batteries. The first battery hidden here in the frame is a 22.4 amp hour battery. And the second battery you get, the one that's in the rear rack, is also 22.4 amp hours. That's almost 45 amp hours of battery capacity. In my personal experience, 45 amp hours is going to give this bike full speed power for about 50 miles. That's crazy. Here's the branding on the rear hub motor. It's 48 volt and 1000 watts for a 26-inch wheel. And up front is a carbon copy of the rear. 48 volts, 1000 watts for a 26-inch wheel. That's over 2000 watts of nominal power. For the rest of the bike, let's start out back. The bike rolls on a set of 26-inch tall by 4-inch wide Chaoyang fat tires. These tires are super popular. You see them on a lot of e-bikes out there because they have a nice center channel to keep the bike quiet while it's rolling on the road. The tread's fairly spaced out with some fairly tall lugs, and it says to inflate these to a max of 20 psi. For the drivetrain, you get a 7-speed Shimano tourney derailleur. Again, super popular choice for a lot of e-bikes out there, and it's protected by a derailleur cage, so this will be really hard to damage. Back here's the 7-speed Shimano freewheel. And then to finish off the drivetrain, you get a pretty basic chainring, some generic cranks, and some plastic pedals. So like I said earlier, this is a hardtail frame, so there's no rear suspension here. You can add a suspension seat post though if you want to get extra comfort out of it. And to finish off the back of the bike, here's a shot of the rear rack. This one's kind of double duty. You can hang some bags off of it and it houses the second battery. And check this out. It's got a built-in light wired to the bike, and the battery in the rear rack here has its own light. Nice. Moving up on the frame here, the tubing is actually fairly slim, which is good because it keeps the weight of the bike down. With 2 motors, 2 batteries, it's already pretty heavy, so this is nice to see. And inside the frame's the second battery, or main battery, however you look at it. This is 22.4 amp hours at 48 volts, and hanging off the frame right under here is the bike's controller. This is essentially the bike's brain. It takes all of the inputs from the pedaling, the throttle, it draws power from the batteries and sends it right to the motors. There's no rear suspension on the F1, but it does have a front suspension fork. It doesn't look like it has a ton of travel, but it actually feels really good. Oh, and it's got a lockout here if you don't want it to move at all, and preload on the left here. And like I said in the intro, this bike comes fully loaded with all the accessories you need, including front and back plastic fenders. Take a look at this seat. This is one of the thickest seats I've ever seen. It's got so much padding on it. That's crazy. And there's a pressure relief hole in the middle here, so this should be really comfortable for a long, long time. Here's a shot of the hydraulic disc brakes. They're 2-piston calipers from Logan, and they bite onto big, thick 160 mil rotors. And this should be the same in the front, yep, and the back. 2-piston caliper and 160 mil rotor. Here's a shot of the front headlight. Looks to have a projector style lens with some halos around the outside. And right behind the headlight, you do get your turn signals here. I'll turn them on in just a sec, but first, let's take a look at the cockpit. Here's a shot of the bike stem. It's actually pretty long. I'd say probably about 70 to 80 millimeters. This is nice though, because if you're a shorter rider, this gives you the opportunity to get a shorter stem to bring the bars closer to you. And speaking of handlebars, the ones you get on the F1 are mountain bike style. They're not too wide, not too narrow, and they've got a little rise up front. Nice. Starting on the right here, you get some fairly cheap rubber grips, half twist throttle, and the 7-speed Shimano shifter. And moving to the front of the grip, here's a shot of the Logan hydraulic brake lever. It takes mineral oil, it's got a bleed port here so you can get rid of any air bubbles that build up over time. There's a little adjustment screw here so you can take the lever in or out depending on how big your hands are. And the brakes even have an electronic sensor here. This tells the bike that whenever you hold the brakes, there'll be no power going to the motors whatsoever. Just a nice safety feature. And check this out. This phone holder comes in the box. Super easy to grab onto any size phone. And better yet, it's got power hardwired to the bike. That means that you can take a little USB cable, plug it into the bottom here, plug it into the bottom of your phone, and it'll stay charged throughout your ride. And on the left here, you get the same cheap grip. You get the remote here for your lights, on and off, your turn signals, left and right, and the bike's horn. Next to that, there's a red button. This one, I'm pretty sure, is to turn the front motor on and off. And then of course, here's the remote for all the bike settings. You get plus and minus buttons to go up and down your pedal assist modes, power button in the middle, information button to cycle through all of the options, and your light button to turn the lights on and off. Oh man, I almost forgot to test the horn. It's actually not that loud. There's no chance someone in a car is going to hear you, but it's not going to be super obnoxious if you're using it on the bike path. Okay, let's see what our daytime running lights look like. Turn the bike on. So the LEDs light up the halo around the headlight. You get turn signals, sequential turn signals. Nice, left and right. Let's turn the headlight on. There we go. The beam in the middle lights up and it uses that projector style lens. Let's see what the headlight looks like shining up on the wall. There we go. So like I said, it's a nice sharp projector style headlight. It's got a really wide beam, but it's got a really sharp cutoff at the top. So as long as you keep this pointed where you should and at the road, it's not going to blind any oncoming traffic. Nice. Here's a shot of the back of the bike. If I turn the bike on, it doesn't have daytime running lights. You can turn the battery light on if you wanted to, but it's up to you. Now, when you hold the brake though, it does light up, which will tell people you're braking. Once you turn the lights on, it does light up. Again, goes brighter when you're braking, and you get your turn signals, left and right. Nice. Okay, let's take a look at the display. I'm gonna hold the power button. So you get a battery meter up top with 5 battery bars. Your speed in the middle in kilometers or miles an hour. In the middle here are all your pedal assist modes. Looks like we get 0 to 5. Then using the I button, I can cycle through the trip, odometer, max speed, and average speed. Pretty simple. It's got lots of contrast. It should be pretty easy to see out in the sun. So they said this bike can go over 30 miles an hour. Let's lean it over and see what kind of speed we can get without any weight on it. Whoa, 40 miles an hour without any weight on it. Let's take it outside and see how it performs with a normal sized human sitting on it. Right, so you guys know what we do when we've got a fresh charge. Let's do the hill test. I always start right here at the fire hydrant. Let's get the bike set up. So I've got the GPS speedometer here on the phone, and hopefully you guys can see the display here. I'm gonna go throttle only, pedal assist number 5, and let's see what the bike can do with only a single motor. So nice smooth start. These are 1,000-watt motors, so it should be able to climb no problems on its own. It's not gonna be the fastest, but okay, let's see what we get down to. About, yeah, 11 miles an hour, single motor. That's okay, you know, pretty average. But let's boost it up. Ooh. Oh man, I almost lost it there. When that second motor kicks in, it's a huge difference. 20 miles an hour uphill. It is just night and day when that second motor kicks in. Just awesome. Let's see how fast we can get going downhill. plastered myself into this truck here. So, all right, so I don't think we have a restricted motor here. I think we're gonna be able to get the most out of this thing. Yeah, I don't wanna hit the car. Oh my God. So right before we take it on to Test Drive Island and really unlock this thing, find out how fast it can actually go with a real human sitting on it, let's see how quickly it accelerates. I always start right here at my lamp pole, and there's a driveway pull out just up ahead. If I can get to 20 miles an hour, we got a fast bike. And from the torque I was feeling uphill, pretty sure this thing's gonna get there. You guys ready? Pedal assist 5. I'm gonna keep it in dual motor. 3, 2, 1, go. Little front wheel spin. 10, 14, 17, 20. Oh, easy. Easy 20 miles an hour. Man, this thing picks up speed fast. I can't wait to see what it's got in the cells. I'll see you guys on the island. So I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but this bike's available in 3 different models. They make a single motor, so single 1,000-watt motor, single battery option for $11.99, if I'm not mistaken, on the website right now. The second model's got the front motor, so dual motor, all-wheel drive, 2,000-watt motors, but still one single 22 amp hour battery. And then this model here for $16.50, I believe it's on for, gives you the second 22 amp hour battery. And of course, whatever sales going on their website, my discount code will save you an additional percentage off of that. I'm not sure exactly how much the discount's gonna be. I'm still negotiating that, but trust me, I'm going to bat for you guys. I'm trying to get you as much money off these bikes as possible. So before we test the top speed of this bike, let's get used to riding it. So what I'm gonna do is just get some speed here, keep it controlled. I'm gonna leave it in single motor here. And I'm just gonna do some turns, just see what the traction's like on these Chaoyang tires. I've ridden these tires before, they've been really, really good, but you never know, right? Different factory maybe, different run of production. Yeah, it feels good, you know, like the bike's very neutral. It's not laid back. Ooh. It's not laid back like a cruiser. It's got actually, it kind of makes you lean forward a little bit and put some weight on the front, which is good for traction, right? Let's go to dual motor, see if that changes things a little bit. Definitely faster. It feels like a very sporty bike, you know, hence the name, I guess, right? That's why they called it the F1. What a nice day. Looks like a Windows 7 background, eh? Time to find out how fast the Zeegr F1 actually goes. They say on the website that this bike can reach 31 miles an hour, but you know how it is, right? 31 miles an hour with a very small human on there, downhill both ways with the wind at your back. It's got to be an optimal situation for these bikes to reach their quoted top speed. So hopefully these guys won't let me down and we're gonna get 31 miles an hour, no problems. You guys ready? I'm gonna go dual motor. I've got the GPS speedometer right next to it. 3, 2, 1, go. Man, the acceleration on this thing is just instant. 20 miles an hour already. 25. 27, 28, 29, 30. 31. Confirmed. 32. Woo! 33. Don't you just love it when companies under-promise and over-deliver? It's so refreshing. So a bike like this begs to be pedaled, right? It's not a moped-style bike you're just gonna lounge around and use the throttle, although using the throttle on this bike is a lot of fun. But you're probably gonna wanna buy a bike like this and get some exercise, right? So let's get the seat up a little bit so I can get proper stretch out of my legs. Just gonna tighten the clamp here, line it up, there we go. Okay, and let's see what this bike's like to pedal. So like I usually do, I'm gonna start in pedal assist 0 with no assistance from the bike. See what that's like. I'm in the granny gear. Oh, it's not easy. It's a big bike and I've got everything working against me right now. Big fat tires, dual battery, dual motor, right? Big, burly frame, no fun. So let's go up. There we go. Nice and smooth. It's not an on-off with the power, it's just gradual, it's just controlled. Love it. Number 2. This is getting me up to about, I've got a little bit of a rub on the disc brake there, trying to get rid of that. 22 miles an hour, pedal assist 3. 25, pedal assist 4. I'm gonna drop some gears here. Let's go to the hardest. Yeah, I can actually still push against the chain. Got 28, and one more, pedal assist 5. Let's go. 29, 30. Yeah. Woo. 30 miles an hour with the pedal assist. You want to go faster than that? You got to have a pretty long, flat stretch of road and use the throttle. So I want to show you something that most reviewers don't actually show you. And to me, this is one of the most important and key factors when it comes to keeping control on the bike and having the bike talk back. You know, it's a lot of back and forth with you and the bike, especially when you're trying to control it through electronics, right? So let's have a look-see and figure out how quickly the cadence sensor kicks in. Some bikes out there, you need like 2 or 3 revolutions of the cranks for it to just figure out that you're turning and you want to go forward, which is no good. Some of them are instant. And then of course you've got torque sensors that are absolutely perfect. They feel super natural and they give you the right amount of torque that you're asking for right away. So those are the best. But this cadence sensor hopefully doesn't take too long to kick in. Let's test that out. So I've got the bike, I'm gonna go down a little bit to pedal assist 3 and let's get going a little bit. There we go. So I'm gonna go up in pedal assist mode so you guys can hear when the motor kicks in, okay? I'm gonna start pedaling now. And for some reason, I don't know if it's a setting in the bike, but it takes, it's almost like the power just starts at 0 and then just ramps up. It's so smooth, but it takes a while for you to notice that there's power coming behind you, right? I don't know if I'm explaining it properly, but it's not an on-off power. Look, I'm gonna start pedaling. And then I'm just feeling the power now just getting in there and making me go forward. It's really smooth, it's really nice. If this is gonna be your first e-bike and you're not sure, this is gonna be nice because it's gonna be hard to lose control of something like this. So now it's time to see what the throttle response is like. So I'm gonna go in pedal assist number 5 and instant. Man, it just feels like a dirt bike almost. And I'm even in dual motor right now. Man. So if you're looking for a hardtail fat tire e-bike that's really fun to drive with the throttle, you gotta look at this. I want to take 2 minutes and show you guys the features on this bike, right? Most electric bikes are all the same. There's a battery, a motor, a throttle, or just pedal assist, right? And they just make you go. But it's nice once in a while when you've got some features on the bike that just makes your ride safer and more enjoyable, right? First things first, turn signals. Now, this is as bright a day as you could possibly want. And they're not the brightest turn signals, but I can see them, no problems. Same with the headlight. I don't know if you guys can see if the camera's doing it justice, but I can see the headlight, no problems. How about the back? Yeah, it's faint, you know, but I can still see it. Obviously, these lights are gonna be handy in the dark, right? Gets you extra visibility with other cars, but turn signals, lights, all really, really good things to have. The other thing that's good to have, and this is gonna come in handy in very, very few options, but this bike has walk mode. So you see this button here on the minus. If we hold the minus button, the bike is now walking itself or rolling itself at walking speed, right? If you ever have to, all right, we'll let that plane go by. If you ever have to get off your bike and push it on an uphill, pushing a 100-pound bike is no easy feat. And being able to just use the walk button there is gonna make life so much easier for you. So again, really nice option to see. And the third feature I wanna show you guys is when you're rolling. Check this out. So I'm gonna use the throttle here, just kind of go 20 miles an hour. And look at this. No throttle, no pedaling. This bike's got cruise control. How easy is this? Just lounge back, enjoy the view. You don't have to think about pedaling. You don't have to think about controlling your speed. I'm set at 20 miles an hour and I can just let the bike go for miles and miles and miles at 20 miles an hour. Just lets me enjoy my ride. How cool is that? Oh, and here's another feature you have to see. The bike comes with a phone mount, right? Pretty simple, opens up, throw your phone in there, right? I mean, you know, a phone mount's a phone mount. But this one is hardwired into the bike and it receives power. So, check this out. Hopefully I can point the camera and you guys can see. But there's a little USB input right here. You can use a short little cable, go USB-A to USB-C and power your phone from the bike's batteries. How cool is that? If you're using GPS or if you're using Google Maps, your phone's battery is gonna deplete fairly quickly. So keeping it charged with the big batteries is a super handy thing to have. Time for the brake test. Here's the marker where I wanna stop by. At least I wanna stop by that. This is where I'm gonna slam on the brakes with the Zeegr F1 and hopefully I can reach, what, 28, 30 miles an hour by this point and stop before that one. Now I've got mixed feelings about this brake test here and it could go either way. We've got great conditions outside. It's a beautiful day, pavement's wet. I've got big Chow Yang tires to grip the ground. The only thing that might hurt us here in the brake test are these rotors. These are 160 mil rotors, some of the smallest rotors you can get on a bike. Now, obviously they didn't do this to save weight, but you know, I don't know, maybe they know something I don't. One thing that I do have confidence in are these Logan brakes. I've had these brakes on a lot of other bikes and they've performed very, very well. So let's see if the F1 stops in time. I'm gonna turn it around, pick up some speed. This acceleration is just awesome. It just keeps catching me off guard. Okay, here we go. So right here, I should be able to get 28 miles an hour. You guys ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Woo! Okay, 20 already. 21. 25, 27, 28, 29, and brake. Whoa! Yeah, like I thought. You know, it's such a small thing, but if they would have spec'd 180 or even better yet, 203 mil rotors on this thing, I'm sure we could have stopped before the 20-foot marker. But they're 160 mil rotors, you know, like they don't have a ton of bite. Great brakes, they work very, very well. And unless you're going mock chicken, I mean, you're gonna be able to stop in time. But if you're going full speed and something happens in front of you, I don't know. Like, this to me is a really long distance to come to a stop, and it didn't do it, right? Luckily for all of us here, upgrading rotors on a bike is not rocket science, right? All you need to do is go on Amazon, get yourself some 180 or even better yet, some 203 mil rotors, and all you have to do is change the adapter here. So you go from a 160 to a 203 mil adapter. Same with the rotor. Take them out, put them in, Bob's your uncle. You're gonna get so much more bite out of your brakes. Just my 2 cents. What do you guys say we take the Zeegr F1 off-road and onto the beach? Now, this is best case scenario, right? Big fat tires, some front suspension, and dual 1000 watt motors. From what I can find out on their website, each motor has 85 Newton meters. So that's over 160 Newton meters of torque. How well do you guys think it's gonna do in the sand? I think it's gonna do just fine. Let's go find out. Ooh, a little wet. It rained last night. Ooh. Man, the power of this bike. You know what I might do? I might just keep it in single motor. Just in the slick bits here, I'll engage the front motor before we get onto the beach. But just to save some traction here off-road, I'm gonna keep it tame. Don't wanna lay down the bike. Traction with these tires is really, really good. Yeah, they're cheap Chinese tires, but you know what? They do the trick really, really well. All right, lots of beach. Front motor engaged, pedal assist number 5. Let's go tear up some sand. You! Oh, this bike has so much torque. It's awesome. Man, if you want a bike that doesn't feel underpowered, look for something like this. This has so much torque and power. You just go anywhere you want, just point it and it goes. Look at this thing. Just drifting. Oh, it looks a little wet over here. Just drifting in the sand. Dual tire drifting. I mean, what other bike can do this? Wow! Oh man, and cruise control kicks in too. Whoa. This is a lot of fun, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Ooh, almost laid it down. Woo! Oh, I'm going way too fast for this. Okay. There we go. Stay out of the prickle bushes. Woo! So now I want to take 2 minutes and talk about bike and ride quality. Now, obviously, this isn't a long-term review, right? This is going to be my initial impressions on how the bike's put together, how the bike rides. and you know what I feel like sitting on the bike. I've reviewed well over 50 bikes last year, and we're on track to review even more this year. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna try my best. To be perfectly honest, this Zeegr F1 is on par with a lot of bikes out there. It seems like the components all kind of come from the same place. I've seen these grips on 20 other bikes before. I've seen this display on other bikes before. I've seen the tires on a lot of e-bikes before, right? It just feels like they come out of the same place, and every company just slaps it onto a different frame and calls it their own. But, you know, how the bike is put together, all the electronics, I mean, that's reflective of how the company puts it together and how much care and attention they use to do that. So far, this bike rides very smooth. As far as the electronics go, it's flawless. I love the dual motor. You can turn it on and off with this red button here. Love that. The power is super smooth. It's not jerky at all. It's easy to control. Obviously, you guys saw, it goes faster than they advertise, which is really nice to see. Again, no complaints. For the contact points, I mean, the grips suck. They're not great grips at all. I don't know if you can disconnect the grip from the throttle, but if it was me and I was to keep this bike, I would definitely be replacing the grips with some nice lock-ons. You know, even maybe replacing the throttle with a thumb throttle or something that's got a little bit more grip. You know, the rubber is super stiff. It rolls on you. It's not the best, right? But it works. The seat's great. The seat's got a lot of padding. It's one of the thickest seats I've ever been on. It looks kind of funny, but you know what? When you're sitting on it, nobody sees it. So the seats, I'm getting along with the seat, you know? The pedals, they're metal Welgo pedals, right? We've seen them on tons of other bikes before. Not a ton of grip, but they're gonna last a long time. And realistically, they're a place to put your feet on, right? You want something with more grip, go on to Amazon, get yourself a nice set of metal pedals with those metal spikes on there. You're gonna get a ton more traction. You're gonna feel like you're stuck to those things. It's awesome. For the frame, I feel like the frame is kind of neutral, right? It's not a cruiser bike that'll kind of sit you up and you know, let you enjoy the road. It's a frame that puts you in kind of a sporty position, right? I don't know if it's the length of the frame or the length of the stem, but I'm fairly neutral. I'm not laid back, that's for sure. You know, would I like a shorter stem and maybe taller bars? Maybe. You guys know me. I like to cruise on e-bikes and enjoy the ride. You know, I'm not out there to perform or, you know, race or anything like that. So if it was me, I'd probably get a nice short stem and some taller rise handlebars just to make the sitting position a little bit more comfortable. But it's not uncomfortable, right? And I get why they do that, right? They want to make one size bike that'll fit all. The tires are Chow Yang tires. They're 26x4. These tires are great do-it-all tires. They've got enough bite to be good off-road. They've got a nice center channel to be fairly quiet on the road. They're just good at everything, right? And for a bike like this that kind of goes everywhere, they're great tires to have. The suspension's okay, you know, it works. I can bottom it out fairly easy if I'm really bouncing on it, but you know, I'm close to 200 pounds, and that's not what that fork was designed to do. It's designed to just take the edge off the bumps, and the back of the bike has none. So if it was me, I'd probably invest, you know, 50 to 100 bucks and get myself a nice suspension seat post. I wonder what brand the Velotric brand uses for their suspension seat post, because that thing was awesome. It worked really, really well, and I'd love to get myself one of them so that I can put it on bikes like this. Right, range report. So I've done almost 14 miles now on the F1, and I'm still showing 5 battery bars. Now, take this with a grain of salt, because I've seen a lot of displays not showing the battery percentage or, you know, capacity properly. But in my personal opinion, absolute worst case scenario, right? There's so many different factors when it comes to calculating range on an e-bike. How cold it is, how warm it is, how much you weigh, how many hills are you climbing, how much power are you asking to draw from the bike, how much power are you putting in yourself. There's so many things that come into play when it comes to calculating range with e-bikes. But in my personal opinion, absolute worst case scenario, you're gonna get about a mile per amp hour. So this bike has 45 amp hours. So I know without a shadow of a doubt that there'd be no problems on this bike to hit 45 to 50 miles. Worst case scenario. That's full speed, dual motor, throttle only, and throw in some hills in there. Now you could probably come close to doubling that, getting up to 100 miles on this bike if you just lower the power level and put in some of your own pedal power. So $1 million question, who's the Zeegr F1 really for? In my personal opinion, it's gonna be for somewhat of a thrill seeker that wants instant acceleration and a bike that's not afraid of climbing hills. If you're concerned with getting an e-bike that's got enough power to get you up the hills and through whatever terrain you can think of, look at this bike. If you want a bike that goes a long way, like look at this. I've done 12 miles on the bike right now, and I haven't even dipped down one single battery bar. So 45 amp hours on a bike like this, yeah, you've got dual motors, but you kind of need the extra battery capacity when you've got two motors running, especially if you ride it like I do, throttle only, full speed everywhere. I can see a really big group of people driving with this bike. You know, it's not too short, it's not too long. It does come with a long stem and some pretty flat bars, but that's easy to change. That's the first thing I would probably change. Wait, I'd probably change a few things on this bike, but they're all so little, right? Better grips, easy. Better pedals, easy. Bigger rotors, easy, right? They're all small upgrades that will just add to you and the bike's relationship, right? I know it's cheesy, but that's just the way I am with bikes. This thing's also built like a tank. There's practically nothing on here that's gonna wear out. Hardtail frames are some of the best out there for keeping their structure. There's nothing, there's no pivots, there's nothing to wear out. There's no rear shock there to tune. Yeah, maybe the front suspension might need upgrading in a few years, but you know, for what it is and what it's supposed to do, it's perfectly fine right now. What's really hard to change on a bike, and I'm glad that everything works so well, is the electronics. The screen could be a little bit brighter, right? I've got shades on. I mean, I can see that I'm going 16 miles an hour. I don't know if you guys can, but it's a super bright sunny day, and you know, I've seen screens that are just a little bit easier to see out in the sun. But other than that, the electronics on this bike are flawless. The power is super smooth. Even if this is your first e-bike, you're never gonna get caught off guard with this thing. The power comes on super smooth, whether you're pedaling or using the throttle. The throttle's perfect too. You can just give it a little bit or give it all the way. It's gonna give you proper power. It's just easy to control. And from what I know, there's 3 different color options. There's a green, there's a tan bike, and there's an all black bike like the one I have here. And there's 3 different models to choose from. If you've got a smaller budget and you just want to start with a single motor, single battery bike, you can go for that one at, you know, the $1,200 mark minus my discount. If you can afford just a little bit and you want that extra power, you want that extra torque and acceleration for the hills, go for the dual motor. I would at least go for the dual motor version myself. And if you can afford it and you really want that extra range, you want to go 30 miles an hour for the longest possible distance, get yourself the dual motor, dual battery version. You will not regret it. So if the Zeegr F1 sounds like the bike for you, go check it out in the link in the description, or you can scan that QR code with your phone. That will take you right to their website, and don't forget to use my discount code because that'll save you another percentage off the bike. And if the Zeegr F1 is not the perfect bike for you, that's okay. Maybe the bike in this video will be more of what you're looking for. I'll see you guys over there.